Okay, this will be notes 2-3. It has a big old long title, but so it makes sense to you. It's finding or writing equation from roots. That passes through a specific point. Okay, through a specific point. So that's where it's different. We've come up with equations last week, but this time we wanted to go through a very unique point. Okay, so here we go. Let's do example 1. We'll just start off with examples. Example 1. So the instructions would read the same as this. Find the equation for the roots from the graph that pass through this point. So instead of writing that all over, I'm just going to give you the point. The point for this one will be -1, 12. Okay, we want it to pass through that point. And then here's the graph. On the graph, it's okay. Don't worry that it has to be really perfect. Just worry that it goes through these x-intercepts so that it passes through -3. -4, -3, -4, -3, and 1. So that's the main thing, is just make sure it goes through those points. Okay, so here's what it looks like. So it might look like this. Okay, so we're going to come up with the equation that describes this line, but we're also going to force it to pass through that point. Okay, that's the goal of today. So let's connect it to last week's stuff. Is this an even or odd function, guys? Odd, right? That's an odd picture. Is it a positive or a negative? Negative because it's reflected. Okay, so just so we don't disconnect it from what you already know. That's what we did last week already. Okay, so the questions are kind of like they kind of lead you up to it. So let's see, roots and factors. Okay, we're going to write the roots and the factors of this graph. So roots are, what's the other word for roots? X-intercepts. What's the other word for x-intercepts? Solutions. And there's another one still. Zeros, okay? It's important that you do know all four of them because they interchange them. Like sometimes they say this word, sometimes they say this word. So the x-intercepts for this would just be x equals -4, -3, and 1. Or you could say like points, like -4, 0, -3, 0, 1, 0. Okay. The factors, on the other hand, are these. X plus 4, x plus 3, x minus 1. So nothing incredibly new there, right? It's kind of all like last week so far. Okay. But now we're going to find the equation in factored form. Okay. And so here's what it looks like. It's just y equals, and then you put those factors. Like that, okay? But the difference today is that we put an A in the front like that. Okay, so for what we're gonna do. Okay, so if that's all they asked us was to find the equation, we'd be done. But remember, the point of this is we want it to go through this point. Okay. So here's how you do it. Okay, this point has an x and a y, and so what we do is just plug that x and the y into that equation. So it would look like this: 12a plus 4 plus 3 minus 1. And then the x into each one of those spots. So x is -1, so -1, -1, -1. We just plug in the point. Whatever point they give us, we plug it into that equation. Okay. And then we use PEMDAS to simplify this. P stands for parentheses. Some students think that means multiply the parentheses. That's not what it means. It means do whatever you can inside the parentheses. So we can add all these numbers. We just add them together. And so we get 12 equals to A, that adds up to 3, that adds up to 2, that adds up to -2. Okay. And then we don't have any PEMDAS, we don't have exponents, but we have multiply. We can multiply these three. What do we get, guys, when we multiply those three? -12, very good, thank you. And remember, the whole goal here is to solve for A, so I gotta get rid of that -12. I'm multiplying by -12, so I divide both sides by -12. Therefore, A equals -1. And I forgot, why did we even do all that, right? Because you get lost in your work sometimes. The whole point of doing that, okay, the reason we did all that is because now that we know A, we can plug A back in to that equation, and that's the equation that passes through that point and fits that graph. Okay, so that equation would look like this. Y equals -1, x. I'm having trouble fitting all this on here, but it's x plus 4 plus 3. What's the last one? -1. Okay, right here. Okay, that's the goal. Okay, that's called factored form. That's the equation. That's the whole purpose of doing this. Okay, that equation is the same one we drew earlier, but it passes through that point. What was that point? -112. It passes through that point. Okay, and we came up with that equation. Okay, so that's the goal of these. Okay, we're gonna do something else today. We're gonna convert this form to standard form, but I think it works better if we do this first and then we convert them. That way you don't mix it up too much. Okay, so let's do example 2. And this time it'll be smoother because you've seen it once, so it's not going to take as long. This time we want it to go through this point, and this is what the graph looks like. Again, the important thing is that you touch these x values, 2 and 6. So just to help those that may still struggle with this, is this an even or odd function? Odd. Odds, the arms are opposite. Is it positive or negative? It's positive, okay. That's the original odd function. It's not flipped. Okay, so you're not going to do a homework today, okay? So this, when I say, now you have 2 minutes, like that's your homework part. That's where you're practicing to see if you know it. So right now, give you 1 minute, answer these 2 questions. What are the roots? What are the factors? They're easy to do, but as just students mix them up. They mix up factors with roots, and you have to know the difference. That's it? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You don't need to pass, right? No. Okay, so here we go. Again, roots, you can write them either way. Okay, you could say x equals -3, 2, and 6, or you could give them as points. -3, 0, 2, 0, and 6, 0. Factors are the opposite of those, so x plus 3, x minus 2, x minus 6. Okay. How many of you got that 100% correct? Excellent, guys. Good job. Okay, now we're going to convert or find factored form. Factored form. Okay, so remember it says y equals a x plus 3, the same factors that you just wrote. But we need it to go through point 180. Okay. So your goal right now is plug in this x, plug in that y, and solve for a. What is a equal? Okay, I'll give you a minute and a half. What is a equal? Okay, so here we go. So this would be 80. It was a 1 plus 3, 1 minus 2, 1 minus 6. If you know yourself, everybody knows there. So if you know that once in a while you mess up adding and subtracting numbers, make sure you're double checking your numbers. Okay, that'd be 4, -1, -5. Multiplying those numbers, you should have gotten 20. Okay. And then when you divide both sides by 20, the last number is 4. So if you didn't get 4, check. Make sure, why didn't I not get 4? Okay. How many of you did get 4 though? Did get 4? Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to plug that 4 back in here. Y equals 4. X plus 3, x minus 2, x minus 6. That's the equation that fits that graph but passes through that point in factored form. Any questions, guys, so far? No? Okay, let me bring